Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. You are watching part 2 of the AutoCAD Mechanical 2015 tutorial, and we are going to show you how to simulate papers in AutoCAD Mechanical 2015. Okay, so like what we did previously, we're going to create a new file, go on new, select em_iso and press open. Okay, so in the previous part, what we did was we introduced you to all these title bars, and now we're going to be using some of the features in those title bars. So in order to simulate papers in AutoCAD Mechanical 2015, what you have to do is you have to go to the annotate option, which you can find in the menu bar below the drop down menu bar. Okay, so once I go to annotate, I'm going to go and select title border. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, and you will notice that a menu pops up or a window pops up, and in that window you have several options. The first one is paper format. Now in engineering drawing, as you all will know, there are several different types of papers, right? The largest of these papers is A0, and then accordingly you have A1, A2, A3. Now the difference or the relation between these papers is that from the largest A0, if I were to reduce the area by half, I would get A1. So A1 is half of A0, A2 is half of A1, and so on up till A4. Okay. Now, if you notice that some of these options have A0 multiplied by 2 and then A0 multiplied by 3. So what that's showing you is that the A0 paper size has been increased twice or increased twice. So in case you needed a larger paper than the standard A0 paper, you could have selected these options. Okay. There is also another option where you can create a custom paper of your own. Now, we're not going to be showing you that today because that's a more advanced feature. So we're going to ignore that. And for now, we are going to select A3, which is the standard paper size. And if you have noticed, by default, if you just open this window, you would have A3 selected. Now the second one is title block. So you have two options in that. Right now you can just select title block A and the scale. Now the object is to be could either be magnified on your paper or it could be diminished depending on the drawing. So now once you click this option, you have several different scales that appear in front of you. The first one says 1000 to 1, and that's actually how you read it. If you notice that this colon is there for every scale that you have, and it's there because we have selected the ISO standard. If we had selected the ANSI or the American standard, we would have seen a slash, right, instead of this colon. So this 1000 is to 1 represents the maximum magnification on your sheet. For example, the object in the sheet will be 1000 times larger than the actual object. Okay? And now if we go at the end, you see 1 2000, which means that the object on the sheet has been diminished by a scale of 1000. So it is 1000 times smaller on the sheet than it is in the actual object. Okay. So I'm going to select 1:1 for now, and I'm going to simply click OK. Now when you click OK, and it might take some time depending on your computer, a red box will appear. Now it looks like a red box right now, but it's actually a very small version of the sheet that you're going to be drawing right now. So if you had accidentally clicked twice, you might have to go through this process again in case you did something wrong. But for now, I'm not going to click anything. And if you notice that if I move this, it's going to tell me where I'm going to place my sheet, right? So what I want to do is I want to place my sheet at the origin, right? And the origin is 0, 0. So I'm going to press 0 and I'm going to press comma. If you notice, as soon as I press comma, it locks in the first coordinate, right? Which is basically the first coordinate, and then I'm going to press 0 again and press enter. So this another window pops up. It's going to ask you some small details. You can edit a lot of the options such as the name, etc., the date, the file name. Okay, so modify these according to your own preferences. I'm just going to leave it as it is and press OK. So once I press OK, you notice that a sheet has now been drawn on my workspace. So now what I need to do is I need to get this sheet focused, right? So that I can see all of it on my workspace. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the navigation toolbar and I'm going to click on this option that says zoom extend, right? As soon as I click this, it performs a very minor change, but what it does is it focuses this sheet onto my workspace, right? So now I can view the entire sheet. If you notice, we selected 0, 0 as the origin, and this point is now 0, 0. Okay, and then every other point then corresponds based on this origin point. So what we have to do is, or rather, if you may notice that this sheet is in landscape mode, right? Goes from left to right. If supposing we want this sheet to be in portrait mode, we have to modify it ourselves. Okay, so in order to convert this landscape into a portrait, what I have to do is in the tab menu bar, I'm going to go to the home tab, and when I click on it, you will see the home ribbon pop up, and in this home ribbon, I want to go to the modify panel. Okay, now in the modify panel, I have two options. One is to rotate, the other one is to move the object. Now first I'm going to perform the rotate operation. So I'm going to rotate my object. Now when I click on rotate, I have two methods to select the object. The first one is the right windowing method. The other one is the left windowing method. Now for now, we're just going to use the right windowing method, and in the upcoming parts of this tutorial, we're going to show you the major differences between these two methods and their advantages, etc. Okay, so I'm going to click on rotate. As you notice, my cursor has been changed into a very small square. I'm going to bring it to the right hand side of my object. I'm going to click anywhere for that matter. I'm going to click here. I'm going to do one left click, and then I'm going to select the entire object. Now this object consists of two parts basically. One is the inside portion, which is a small rectangle, and the other one is the outside of it, obviously. So once I've selected all of it, I'm going to click on it. Now my entire object has been selected. Okay. Okay. So now what I have to do is I have to select my base point where I will perform the rotation. Okay. So what I have to do is after I've selected my entire object, I'm going to press enter. Okay. Now as you notice, a option has popped up next to my cursor and it says specify base point. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and select the origin of my object, which was 0. So I'm going to click that. Okay. Now I can either do this rotation manually or you can specify the angle yourself. So for now I'm going to give it a rotation of 90, and if I simply press 9 and 0, it will start typing the angle next to the cursor. So I'm going to press enter. Okay. Now as you can see that the object is not completely in my workspace. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the navigation toolbar, menu bar, and I'm going to click zoom extend. There we go. Now the object is completely inside the workspace. So what I have to do is, what I'm going to do is rather, I'm going to rotate this inside rectangle as well. So for that, we're going to go on rotate and simply click anywhere inside the object. It will select the entire object. Okay. Then I'm going to press enter. Okay. Now to specify a base point for rotation. Now what I want to do is I want my object to come over here, because at the end I want this box to be aligned over here, right, in portraits. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go here, select this endpoint, which is the top left hand corner of this rectangle. I'm going to click that and specify a rotation angle. So for this I need a rotation angle of 270. Enter, and there we go. Now we're not quite done. What we want to do is we want to move this object so that it is aligned with this side of the larger rectangle, right? The sheet. So for that, what I need to do is go to the move option, I click the move option. Again, I have this small square. I'm simply going to click the object. It will select the entire object. Okay, I'm going to press enter. It's going to ask me to specify the base point. Now for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the end point of my rectangle, click it, and start dragging until it is merged with the end point of the okay. So I've converted my object from a landscape view to a portrait view. Now what I'm going to do is that I want to move this object so that this point, which you will notice is now no longer the origin. I want to move this point so that it becomes the origin once more. Now if you bring your cursor to this point and you look at the status bar, you will see that it has roughly the coordinates of the origin, right? So in fact, what has happened is in our rotation, this point has become the origin, or rather this is the origin, and this corner is now on the origin, and we want to move this portion over there. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the move button and click that. We're going to select the object, right? And then I'm going to press enter. So what I want to do is I want to move this edge. So I'm going to select this and start moving, and I'm going to merge it. So now if you bring your cursor to this point, you will see that it is roughly the origin. And this one in fact has been moved to this one, some other one. Now I'm going to click zoom extents, and the object is now ready. Okay. Before we conclude this part, there are a couple of things you need to know regarding the 2D snap option. Okay. So when you notice that if I had selected the rotate option or the move option, let's just select the move option and select some other option. Okay, press enter. Now you see small rectangles being displayed at the characteristic points or the endpoints of the object. This is because I have 2D snap enabled. If I did not have that enabled, or in the options of 2D snap I had not selected the endpoints, you would not have seen these rectangles, but you would still be able to perform the function that you needed to do. Now what is the advantage, or rather the disadvantage of not having 2D snap on? Well, the thing is, because AutoCAD Mechanical environment is a very high precision environment, you will, in order to select the exact endpoint, you will either have to zoom into the object or to select that exact point, and the odds are that you will still not be able to select the exact end or the very end of the object. So 2D snap is very useful in that regard. So let me press escape and show you if you don't know how to get to the options of 2D snap. So this is on the status bar. This shows that 2D snap is on. Okay. So if I switch it off and if I try to, let's say, do the same thing, you will note that I am no longer able to see any points or any of those small green rectangles. So now I am completely completely manually choosing my points, right? Okay, so let's press escape again. Now let's go to the options of 2D snap. I'm going to click on this small arrow. I'm going to go on object snap settings. Now when you open up the settings and in the object snap tab, you will see several options that you can select, right? So the endpoint, to bring a cursor, it will give you an explanation, but the endpoint was the option that was allowing us to have those green boxes appear on the corners of our object. And if I were to disable this, right, and if I were to perform my operations, I would not have those endpoints highlighted, but I would still have the intersections, the extensions, and the center point highlighted. So the standard is that you keep it like this. It will be easy for you. You can also have midpoint enabled if for your object you feel that that characteristic point is important. So you can have the midpoint enabled and so on. For now, we're going to keep it like this, and you can press OK and re-enable 3D object. Okay. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for part number 3.